The next giant is inner giant, equi-giant. Actually, this type of giant is used to get the result based on matched data from both the table. For matching the data, we use some equality conditions. So according to those conditions, that single condition, we get the matched data in a common attribute from both the tables, and according to that condition, the end result is selected. Suppose here we have two tables. The first one is member table, the second one is info table. In member table, we have IDs as 1, 2, 3 up to 4, and in info table we have IDs as 1, 2, 3. There is no 4 in this info table. So if we match these IDs, then we will get record for Ali, Muhammad and Amir, but there will be no association for this instance, which is number 4, Ghulam. So as per this inner giant or equi-giant, we can get the matched data, and here the matched data is the data for these three tuples. The queue is quite simple. We need to type select as we did in our previous join. Then the column list, we can give any number of columns, or we can type static from the table 1 inner join. This is the keyword, and then table 2. After that, we must give the condition. Actually, we use this equi-giant in a case where the attributes in both table are dissimilar, but they are used for connecting tables. Like here we have ID, both are same. We may get a scenario where we will have different names or different data types for primary key and foreign key in the connected tables. So in where clause, we must specify the column name in table 1 equal the column name in table 2. In workbench, we are going to practice the equi-giant. So here we have LabGiants database. Inside this database we have EMP address and EMP info. In EMP address we have ID and city. There are 6 IDs from 1 to 6 and the city names for each ID. And EMP info, we have 5 IDs from 1 to 3 and then 7, 8. 4, 5, 6 are not present in this table. So if we apply equi-giant, we will get result for 1, 2 and 3. 4, 5, 6 are not present in EMP info, and 7, 8 are not present in EMP address. Only matched values are 1, 2, 3 under ID in both the tables. So what we need to type select. Let's say we are selecting name and city. After that, from table 1 is EMP info, and after that we need the keyword inner join and table 2, that is EMP address, and after that we need the condition to specify the matched values from the common attribute. So here we must type where the attribute name, it is ID in both the tables. So I must type emp info dot id. I cannot type id here because id is present in both the tables, so I must specify that which id is this, where emp info id equals emp address dot id. So this query will give us all the names and cities from both the tables where IDs are matching. Execute it, control enter. So we got the result for Ahmed, Ali and Irfan. Actually these were the three starting tuples, 1 2 3. Let's type ID here. So we must be clear that which tuples are selected, but remember, as I told you, you must specify that which ID is this. So here I am typing emp underscore, the table name is emp info dot id. Now execute it again. So here we get the tuple for ID 1, 2 and 3. There are 3 tuples. Now if you look into the address, there are more than 3 records, but some were unmatched. 4, 5, 6, these are not matching. If you look into the employee info, the number 7 and 8, these two are not matching. Only 1, 2, 3 are matching. So we got these 3 instances from these 2 tables. Now consider the Northwind database. Let's check what are the order dates for customers. So here 2 tables are involved. The first one is customer, the second one is ordered. In customer, let's say we need the name of the customer. Here we have last name and first name, and inside orders we have some dates. We can get the order date or ship date. So now we need let's say the customer name from customer table and order date from the orders table, and we need the matched data from both the tables. So in this case we will also use the inner join or equijoin, and since both the primary keys and the primary key and the foreign key are different. Here in customer we have ID, and here this ID is used as customer ID in orders, and this customer ID is actually the foreign key which is connected with the ID in customers. So what we need to type here, it is customers dot ID, and then we have customers dot last name, and in orders table we have orders dot, the attribute name is order date. So orders dot order date, and after that we must specify both the tables. So the first one is customers, and then the second table is orders, and the condition would be the customers.id and orders dot customers ID. It is customer ID. So this is the query for getting the ID of customer and last name of the customer, and according to these two values we will also get the order date from orders table, and for this value and these two values we will consider the where clause, and inside this where we have a condition that customer.id must be equal to orders.customer id. So these attributes are from two tables, the customer and orders. Now we need to execute this query, but before this we need to type the use Northwind so that we may select this database. Now execute it. Here we get the list. Now if you look into this list, we have ID of customer, last name of customer, and order date from the order table. Now actually this customer has ordered twice, or there are two instances connected with this value, so we are getting two tuples in the result. This is the another type of inner join called as natural join. As we know that inner join will give us the matched value, so the natural join will also give the same result as we got by using the equijoin. The main difference is that in inner join we used in equijoin we used the condition just after the select clause, but in natural join there is no need of any where clause in the statement. Actually we don't use this condition or where clause because this can be used in a case where the common attribute in both the table has same name and same data type. Now consider these two tables. Here we have primary key, this one is also primary key, and these two are connected, so both have same data type. Data type is int and their names are also same, so in such case there is no need to specify their equality or check for equality of both the attributes. The query is quite simple. We need to type select static or the list of the attributes. It can be a single attribute or multiple attributes from both the tables, then from keyword the table 1 and the keyword natural join and table 2. There is no need of where clause in this natural join query. So here in our example for lab joins we have two tables, emp address and emp info. I'm going to select this database first. Now we need to use the natural join. Select, let's say name comma city from first table emp info, then natural join second table emp address. So this will give us the same result as we got from the previous query of inner join, where we typed inner join instead of natural join, and here at the end we used a where clause to compare the IDs in both the tables. Execute it. So we got the result. This result is similar to the previous result from equijoin. Next is outer join. In outer join we select both the matched and unmatched data from both the tables. In the join we considered only the matched data. Let me explain this figure. So here suppose we have two tables, table 1 and table 2. In table 1 and table 2 there is some matched data. This one is, let's say, matched data. If you look into the example in workbench, here this data is matched in both the tables. This was ID number 1, 2 and 3, and rest of the IDs in both the tables 4, 5, 6 in employee address and 7, 8 in employee info. These were not matched, so the matched was 1, 2, 3 or these names with these cities. So in table 1 and in table 2 we have some match data. The inner join will give us the data according to this matched data. Then in outer joins we have three types: left, right and full outer join. So what will happen in left outer join? We will get this match data. This data is present in both the tables according to our example, ID number 1, 2 and 3. These three tuples will be present in the result, plus unmatched data in table 1. Let's say the employee info is table 1. So if you remember, in employee info ID number 7 and 8 were present, but these two IDs were not associated with the employee address. So we will get ID number 1, 2 and 3, and after that unmatched ID number 7 and number 8 if we keep the employee info on the left side in the query. Then in right join again we will have matched data and unmatched data. For matched data, let's consider again the example of employee info and employee address. Suppose here we have employee info as table 1 and employee address as table 2. So we will get 1, 2, 3. This is matched, and in address there were some other IDs which were not present in employee info. Those were 3, 4, 5. So the result would be 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Matched is 1, 2, 3 and unmatched is 4, 5, 6. In table 1 there were 7 and 8, but those were unmatched and those would not be present due to right join. Then full outer join will give us all the data from both the tables, matched and unmatched. Remember one thing, for unmatched data we will get null for all those attributes which are empty or not present in the second table. So the first one is left outer join. Here suppose we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, and in the second table we have 1, 2, 3, but this 4 and 5 are not present. I assume that this table is on left and this one is on right. So what will happen? We will get 1, 2, 3 and their associated values in the second table. Suppose we apply a query as select ID, name and address. So what will happen? We will get 1A X, 2B Y and 3C Z. But we will also get the unmatched data, that is 4 and 5. So we will get 4D and then null because it's not present here. So we will have null for this, and also 5E and null. The query for left outer join is select, then list of the attributes from first table, which would be the left table, then keyword left outer join, and second table the right table, and after that the attributes which would be matched in both the tables. We will also supply a keyword on before this matching or before this condition. Right outer join is similar to left outer join. The only difference is that we will consider the right table, and in previous case we were considering the left table as a key table. Rest of the things are same, but the result would be a bit different. Now consider this. Suppose this one is left table and this one is right table. So in case of right outer join, we will consider this table as a primary table. So here we will have the matched data from this table, that is 1 2 3, and unmatched data 7 8 will also be present in the result, but for 7 8 we will have null for those values which are not present in this table. Suppose we have a query: select ID, name and address. Then we have right outer join in that query. So the result would be 1 A and X, then 1 B Y, then 3 C Z. These are matched. Now we will consider the unmatched from right side. So after that we will get null, again null and W, then null, again null and V. This would be the result, matched data and unmatched. Let's check our database. In employee address we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. These are the values in employee address, and in employee info we have 1 2 3, then 7 8. So in employee address 7 8, these two values under ID are not present, and in employee info 4 5 6, these three values are not present. So we have 1 2 3. These three tuples are associated with the other table. We can say that these three rows are matched, or these three values are matched under ID in both the tables, and rest of the values are not matched. In one table we have 4 5 6, and in another table we have 7 8. Now we will apply the left outer join. So here type select, let's say we need the name and city. Name is from employee info and city is from employee address. Name, city from the left table, that is employee info, and after that we will type the keyword left outer join, the second table employee address, it is the right table, and then we will give a condition on. So we have ID common in both the tables, so here we must type ID equals ID, but we must specify that which ID is from which table. So employee info dot ID equals employee address dot ID. So this query will give us the matched data and unmatched data from left table. The left table is employee info, and unmatched data in employee address will not be considered. And if the data is not present in employee address, for those attributes we will get null. So here we got the result, first, second and third. These three tuples are present in both the tables. Actually the IDs in both the tables are same. Those IDs are 1 2 3, and then in employee info there were two more IDs, ID number 7 and 8. 7 and 8 were not present in employee address. So we got the names of the names in those rows, but since the IDs were not present in employee address, so we got null for the second table because the city is in the second table, so we got null here. So this was left outer join. Now in the same way we can apply right outer join. Just replace this left, type here right outer join. So here we have employee info on left and employee address on right. So in this case the employee address will be considered, and these two values are unmatched and present in left table. These two values will not be displayed in the result. Rather, we will get some new values from employee address, and those values will be unmatched. Control enter. So first, second and third, these three rows are matched. IDs for these values are present in both the tables. Then from employee address we got three more values, and the primary key values for these three values are not present in employee info. So we got null from the employee info and these unmatched values from employee address. The last type of outer join is full outer join. Full outer join is the combination of left outer join and right outer join. In this outer join we get the matched data and unmatched data from both the tables that are left and right tables. So in most of the DBMS we use this type of query where we use the full keyword instead of right and left, as we did in our previous examples, to get the full outer join, and rest of the procedure is quite simple. Note one thing, that here we will get matched data, then unmatched data. So we will get 4 D and null, then 5 E and null. After that we will get 7 W and 8 V. So we will also get null for these two tuples. In MySQL this full is not supported. So if we need a full outer join, then we must apply a union between the left outer join and right outer join. Rest of the things are same. Suppose we type here full outer join, then let's see what happens. It will give us error, as I told you that full outer join is not supported by MySQL. So for this purpose we must type here left outer join and then union, another query for right outer join. Make it a single query, delete this semicolon. Now we have a single query containing left outer join, union, right outer join. Let's execute this. Here we get the result. We have unmatched data from table 1. For this data we have null, and unmatched data from table 2, the right table, and here we have null for unmatched data. So in this way we can apply the full outer join in MySQL by taking union of left and right outer joins. In today's lecture we studied about SQL join, used to get data from multiple tables. Then cross join will give us the Cartesian product of rows of both tables given. Then inner join used to get the match data. Natural join without condition, this is also called the inner join is also called equijoin. And natural join we don't give any condition, but the common attribute must have same name and same data type. Then outer join will give us the matched and unmatched data. We have three types for outer join: left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. In left outer join we will get the matched and unmatched data for the left table, and for the right table we will get null, and in right outer join we will get matched plus unmatched data from the right table, and from the left table we will have null. Full outer join is the union of left outer join and right outer join. So far this was about joins. If you have any question, you can contact me through KCMS. You can put comment about any query, and also you must share your experiences about this topic. I hope you will practice all these by yourselves. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.